And we are live. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Noah's Beard Oils. And nobody likes a dry beard. So that's why I am partnered up with Noah's Beard Oils. When you go to Instagram.com/Noah's Beard Oils, you will see what it looks like. So I want to put that up there. So that's Instagram.com, Noah's Beard Oils. So today's podcast is brought to you by Noah's Beard Oils. And if you mention my name, gLO, you'll get free shipping off of your entire order. This one is Calm, and I haven't tried this one yet, but I have tried the fresh because I'm fresh like that. But here we go. This is the fresh one. Very good friend of mine, brother Noah. He's actually here on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Noah's Beard Oils at Instagram. Make sure you mention gLO in the DMs. He'll give you free shipping off your entire order. So that's that. All right, we're gonna get right into it. Have you ever been in a place where you did self-reflection and you're like, man, my life sucks? Or you're like, man, I didn't quite do what I'm supposed to be doing in this chapter of my life. Well, I had one of those moments. Fresh like that, Tala. I had one of those moments where I had to do self-reflection. And I will say that I've been blessed. Like, God reminded me of some moments in my life. And I will share those with you. I'm trying to get my video ready. I want to be all fancy. Today's episode is recorded live on YouTube, Twitch, X, of course, and also on Kick, which is a brand new live stream platform, which is in beta. And we're going to upload audio to Spotify. I forgot to click record on my Spotify. So in about 30 seconds, we'll be back. We're going to get started with note card memories. So I uploaded a different song today because of it's just me. I haven't done a solo podcast in a while. So let me just first of all say thank you very much to everybody that has joined in on our live stream community X, which is a live stream community. It's just a bunch of people that are passionate about going live, like what we're doing right now. Whether you have a cell phone, whether you have an Android, God bless you if you have an Android or you have an iPhone. Or if you're a drone live streamer, we've got a lot of people in different areas of life. We've got actually quite a bit of people that are in a professional realm. We have a newscaster who is a professional news anchor. She's a part of our community as well. And so we're just glad to have people like that. So thank you for those of you that pushed us over the edge to 105, 106, whatever it is. Thank you for the hearts, but I see you tapping the hearts. I think that's Tala with the green hearts. And so thank you for those of you that pushed us over the limit of 100. We're actually on our way to 200. And when we do hit 200, we're going to give away one of these tripods by Archon Mounts. These will be like a $50 giveaway. I'm saying 50. I'm not sure what it actually costs on it because, yeah, I get them for free. So, but I think they're like $40 or something like that. But anyways, yeah, my wife is in the stream, by the way. She's on YouTube. I see her. I want to pop up your comments. We're at 107. Yes, Tala with the updates. My wife is out there on YouTube. That's my wife, Emily Lopez. And what I said in the very beginning, have you ever been in a moment where you just were self-reflecting and you're like, and I'm using weird, I don't use those words, but I'm using it for Twitter, for X, but self-reflection. And, for those of you that don't know me, I probably should have introduced myself. My name is Greg. The user handle is the real Greg Lopez. Some people call me gLO. There's not a lot of people that call me gLO, but it's more for branding. And anyways, we're from Hawaii, born and raised. Legit, my mom was native Hawaiian, Chinese. My dad is Filipino. My wife is actually, she's like... what is my wife? My wife is a lot of things, but she's predominantly Hawaiian, Puerto Rican, Samoan. What's up, Cordell? And then we got our bot. You guys promoting. So we're from Hawaii, and we've been blessed to do life back and forth between Hawaii and Oregon. because of obligations, whether it's ministry or business. I'm going to just real quick promote my wife, man. She's a champion, man. She's a full-time mom. She's a full-time stay-at-home mom, full-time business manager. When I say business manager, she manages everything in our home in regards to finances, to business, to our investments, to our future businesses. She filed the other day 3 LLCs. Well, we revitalized, if that's the word, one of them, and then filed 2 new ones. We opened up 2 brand new EINs. I think that's what it's called, honey. And then we applied for trademarking, all that stuff. She did all that in one day. Like, that's my wife. So find you a wife that can do that stuff, because I can't do it. And I'm just blessed. But through all of that, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. It's been tough. Man, it's been hard. Life has been hard. Like, I don't care if you have a job title as like a motivational speaker or a coach, or if you're pastors like my wife and myself. The truth is, family, like, we're probably the worst candidates when it comes to what you would consider a pastoral type of person, if you look at our history, our background. But I think God had other plans, and man, we're blessed to be able to do life together and to do ministry together, to raise a family, but I will say this, man, life's been hard. And one thing I will encourage somebody in this podcast, because this is going to go to Spotify later, and I'm recording live on all the other live stream platforms. When things are coming up at you in such a heavy way, at the most inopportune time, that may be an indicator that you're doing the right thing. Now, I'm not saying guarantee, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, my wife is about to graduate. She's working on her master's degree, but she's about to get to this pinnacle in her career, educationally. Even us, with us being here in Oregon, so we go Oregon, Hawaii, predominantly Oregon lately, and it seems like everything came to a halt. Like in Hawaii, our famous saying is, "Bro, pump your brakes, bro, pump your brakes." Well, as you pump your brakes, it's like, slow down, or man. But I had all the brakes lifted, like the e-brakes, the pumping the brakes, had the foot on the ground like the Flintstones. You stop in the vehicle, and man, everything came hitting hard, bro. I'm like, okay, I said, God, I know that I got to work on some things in my life on a personal level. And then God was showing me some things last night, because I was in a very, very heavy place last night. And that's what the title of today's broadcast is. I'm not going to share every single one of them, but I thought it would be funny because I will show you a little bit. So in these note cards, you can't see the detail. I have this thing for note cards, and I have this thing for journals. My wife laughs at me all the time because it's like, don't you have enough journals? I have so many note cards. It's crazy. It's a new thing, and I'm starting to write notes. And I'm going to land the first plane. And so God took me back to 19. Let me pull it up. So I have decades. Okay. So I'm 48, by the way, in case anybody's wondering how old I am. I'm 48 years old, brother. It's like, what the heck? Okay. 1975. And guys, I am reading your comments. If I miss them, I'm sorry. I'll go back and watch and read them later. I try not to read too many when I do podcasts. When I'm doing other things, I try to read them. But 1975, I wrote. So this is 1975 to 1985. I want to show you, and I'm going to read them. And the reason why I started writing these down is because I was getting, I'm not going to use the word depressed, because I know I'm not better. I'm not there. Okay. But like I said earlier, I'm just a regular person. Job title, leadership position, I'm just a man, a father and a husband. And so God said, start writing these things down. So I wrote them down. 1975 to 1985. You know the title of this note card is? It's called Years of Innocence. So I was born in 1975. So I'm going to share with you guys, and I'll explain it. So in Hawaii roots, Big Island raised. So I'm from the Big Island of Hawaii. If you don't know what that is, the Big Island of Hawaii is the island with the snow. We have snow. We have the largest mountain in the world. If you don't believe me, Google it, fact check me. I am pretty accurate on that. We also have beaches, lava, tropical rainforest, desert climates. We have an Arctic lake that's at the top of the mountain. Of course, we got Hawaiian people, which are the coolest people on the planet, hands down. So that's where I'm from. So I wrote that down. I wrote down I went public school. In my house, okay, check this out. In our property, we had mango trees, banana trees, papaya, lychee. Did I say papaya? We had bananas, coconut. We had coconut tree in our house, in our property. Okay, I grew up with this stuff, and I hate it. I hate it every single. I don't like lychee. Well, I'll eat it. I don't like mangoes. I'll eat bananas once in a while, but I grew up with this stuff. My playground was lava field. I grew up in a lava field, not legit. It's like got trees and stuff, and guava trees. Guavas too. I've posted pictures of our properties. So we actually have land near where I grew up, and if you want to really search, you'll find it. But I say that is that it took me back to 1975 to 1980, 82. When I had all those things. I used to play in these. So there are these, if you've ever seen ferns, there are these fern forests in our backyard across the street. And me and my brother would play in these ferns, and we would dig holes. So I would dig tunnels in these fern forests, and they would literally be like tunnels. And that was my playground. And so I wrote that down. Snow. Okay. My first snow was in Hawaii, believe it or not. My first experience with snow. Hawaiians, we don't have snow jacket. We don't have snow gear. I literally had socks on my hands as a kid. I remember that I had socks. Bro, socks playing in the snow. I was so excited playing with snow as a kid. What Hawaiian gets to play with snow? Unless you're from the Big Island, which is the best island out of them all. And there's 8 or more technically. What else did I write down? Spencer Beach Park, Boiling Pots. I won't share that one. Kawahai, Grandpa's. Okay, here's what I'll share. Learning how to ride a bicycle. Okay, my dad is going to be mad. Well, he's not going to be mad. My dad taught me how to ride a bike. I'm not exaggerating one bit. My dad taught me how to ride a bicycle in the sand. I'm not lying. Good to see you, Shirley. Thank you for commenting. Shirley out there on Twitch, thank you for commenting. My dad taught me how to ride bike on the sand. If you don't believe me, I'm going to do a podcast with it, and we're going to call him out live, okay? So just throwing that out there. But you know what my dad told me after all these years? My dad said, well, I taught your brother how to ride bike on the road, and when he fell, he ate it pretty bad. And I thought about, thank you, Dad, for teaching me how to ride bike on a beach in the sand. But that was the most frustrating experience in my life up to that point. My dad is amazing. He's amazing. Yeah. And if you don't know my dad, I'll pin the video later. There's a little podcast clip I made of him. I'm going to share a few more experiences, and I'll land the plane on this card. So we had this mango tree. Check this out. And guys, if you want to comment, go ahead and post some comments. I'll post them up on screen if you want to have your name up on the limelights. There was this big mango tree. It was huge, like massive. It was like the tree from like, what is that? What's that? Avatar, okay? And of course, as a kid, everything is big. But it was a big tree. It was as big as a tree in Avatar. And we played this game called Alligator. And Alligator was a game when one person was the alligator and he was in this ditch, but he could come out of the ditch, okay? It's kind of like tag. Well, we had this vine that we would swing from the top of the mango tree, and there was this ditch, and we'll go from one side to the other side. And I just remember that I was so scared because I don't want to get bit by the alligator, who just so happened to be my friend Tommy. So Tommy saw, if you're out there, I don't know where you are on this planet. He was a very, one of our neighbor friends. Tommy and Michael saw, wherever you are. They were Korean, which is funny because their dad made Hawaiian tiki dolls. It was so funny. But anyways, man, I forget who was. I think it was. I think it was Tommy. So Tommy was the alligator, and he ended up chasing me. My brother goes before me. He swings like Tarzan, right? If you guys remember that game Pitfall from the 80s, my brother swung, went to the other side, and I'm yelling at him. And I'm like, Bryce, Bryce, throw me the vine. Throw me the vine. Throw it now. I'm like, if I was Arnold, I'm like, do it now. Come on, do it. Right? And I'm like, I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get bit. And so my brother threw the vine, and I don't know what I was thinking, bro. I think I was like 8, 7, whatever I was. I thought I was Superman, bro. I kid you not. I jump like Superman. I missed the vine, and would you know? So this mango tree was in an abandoned property. It was like somebody's property. It's like an acre, and there was all kinds of scrap, wood, and I face plant into the ditch, and bro, my face hits this piece of wood, and there's nails. I'm not even bro. If my mom was still alive today, she would be like, "Yeah, I remember that." And my face hits this board, nails scratch my face, and I'm screaming like bloody murder. I'm like, ah! like how when you get really, really pain or whatever. I'm mad at my brother. I said, you didn't throw it quick enough. And he's like, wow, I threw it at you. Why did you jump? Because I didn't want to get bit, you dummy. So I didn't want to get bit. Long story short, I get on my bike. I ride home. Like, I swear it felt like 3 miles. I'm riding my bicycle, 7 years old, riding my bike 3 miles on this dirt road on Big Island, Hawaii, Hilo side, for those that know. Man, I'm riding my bicycle, and I'm like, man, this hurts. And I go home and screaming. I'm crying the entire time. I'm not even I probably am exaggerating, but I'm 48. Give me a break. I'm probably got some details mixed up. My mom is like yelling, what happened? And anyways, family, I bring up all these stories. Because I'll say this, now it's going to get heavy for me. Whenever you feel like things are so heavy that you cannot move forward, bro, get out some note cards. Where's it at? Write down some memories, good ones, bad ones. Because I promise you, if they're good or bad, bro, I promise you, if you were able to write it down on a piece of paper, you got through that stuff. Legit. You got through all of that. And I'm only with 10 years. I got another 38 more years to go. So I want to encourage you guys tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, that whatever life experiences you've got, write them down, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna, for sake of, integrity with my personal life, I'm not gonna tell you the details, but I was in a very heavy place, and I'm like, I said, God, you got to give me something. And God said, no, I got you. Just write it down. And I wrote it down. And I'm telling you guys this because I'm being real. And, man, I got to be careful, because my wife is like, why'd you share so many details? But I'm not going to share all the details. I just want to encourage you guys that if you ever get into a place that is so heavy and you're like, man, I don't know what the next chapter looks like. Well, why don't you go back into your history and find out what the previous chapter said about your life? And it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. The fact that you're able to write them down, bro, I'm telling you, that's some good stuff. I'm going to take a break from the emotional stuff for a second. If you're not a part of our live stream community X, join in, bro. I'm telling you, because you're going to be able to do stuff like this. I'm just saying. And then we got some great moderators. We got Tala, no excuses. She's out there in California. We've got Blaine in Utah. We got Jim in Chicago. We got Waylon out there in Indiana. Amazing broadcasters, amazing live streamers. I think collectively 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, at least 50 years of experience of live stream within that group. So if you just want to hang out, meet some cool people, if you want us to support you and, spam your feed with a bunch of live stream, join the community. And I'm going to go to the next note card. But before I do that, real quickly, for those that don't know, today's broadcast is brought to you by Noah's Beard Oils. If you don't know, just go to my profile. There's a little link in there. I'm going to promote the heck out of. I don't get paid anything from this guy. He's just a good friend of mine, and I want to promote the heck out of him because nobody likes a dry beard. So let's do some comment recognition. I don't want to do too much because we're going to be uploading to Spotify. Shirley, thank you again for the love on Twitch. For those that don't know, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, of course, X, and also on Kick. If you don't know what Kick is a brand new live stream platform still in beta, and we're giving them a shot. So, man, that was easier than I thought. So we covered 1975 to 1985. I think I'm going to do one more card, and then we're going to call it quits because I want to upload this to Spotify, and it'll take me a minute. So for those of you that don't know, my dad, born and raised Hawaii, both my mom and dad. So my dad, however, had a very interesting upbringing. So my mom and dad were both executives. My dad was vice president of a bank in Hawaii. My mom was she managed some kind of medical group, and so we had money. I'm going to share this story, and I'm going to call my dad out. I love my dad. I don't know where it's at. I have it somewhere. Anyways, I'll do it from memory. So, in light of our financial situation in those years, we had money, and we had property. There was a time when our family had five properties. Yeah. So, anyways, going back to that time as a kid, money was never an issue. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. Now, we weren't crazy wealthy. We're not wealthy at all, but money was never an issue, right? My dad decides to come home with a blue Dodge Ram van. I think it's called. It's a blue van. Okay, this is my dad. Okay, and now I'll explain it. Brought a man, came home with a brand new van with no windows. Bro, no windows. Okay, I told my wife. I think I told my wife this story last night. No windows. Okay, my dad came home with a brand new van, no windows. Now, can you imagine my dad did that in I don't know, and when I was a kid growing up, like in the 80s or 90s? Imagine he had a white van with no windows. We'd be in trouble. But anyways, he comes home with a blue van with no windows. And it was a 2-seater, I remember. It was a nice van. It was beautiful, okay? And as a kid, I didn't know any better. But what I do remember is that my dad put these 2 office chairs in the back. This is how frugal this is how frugal my dad was. Rather than buy a van that had seats with seat belts and all the safety features, he decides to get a cargo van with no windows. Okay. And he decides to get 2 office chairs from his office now. My dad's vice president of this bank in Hawaii, First Hawaiian Bank. And he cockroaches these 2. If you don't know what cockroach is, so in Hawaii we say cockroach. I don't know how to define cockroach, but maybe my wife can define what cockroach is. But that cockroach is stealing, borrowing these 2 office chairs from his office as the seats in this van. And anyways, that speaks to the frugality of my dad. And anyways, I'm saying all that because in 1985, we left the comfort, safety, security, beauty, tropical climate of Hawaii and went to the South. It's supposed to have been there for 4 years. My mom and dad gave up their careers in the corporate world and they decided to go to Bible college. And I was like, confiscated? Surely, yeah. So we left Hawaii, went to South Carolina. And I will tell you this, that was probably one of the best years of my life as a kid. You take a Hawaii boy out of the islands, put him in the middle of the South in the 80s. Whatever racism there was, it was like maybe the tail end of it. They didn't know if I was white or black. They thought I was Bruce Lee, which I'm not. They thought I was like a samurai warrior. I'm not Japanese. They thought I was like a Mexican tamale, which I'm not even Mexican. They didn't know what I was because they didn't have experience in Pacific Islanders at that time. And anyways, that time I was the only. I'm gonna read my notes. I was the only Hawaiian in the South, and I labeled these the poo years. So my wife gets mad because I joke about growing, growing up. We didn't have a lot of money. It's partially true, not 100%. But I call these the poo years. I remember, Bob. I remember. Check this out. Excuse me. I remember going to what I remember the dollar store, and I remember probably this memory will forever be engraved in my mind. And I went to the dollar store with my parents, my family, and we were looking at pants. I kid you not, these pants, bro, were polyester. They're like from Good Time. Remember the TV show Good Times, or when the guys are walking, they're walking like this, and the pants are just flaring back and forth, and it's like it was those kind of pants, like grandpa pants or grandma pants, the ones that if you light them on fire, the whole pants will. Yeah, those were the pants. I didn't buy them though. Yeah. Shopping at gLO. Anybody in the South, if you ever heard of gLO, I remember shopping at gLO grocery store. That was kind of awkward year. I call that the awkward years. So 85 through 92, the awkward years. When I say awkward, it's because I was like a unicorn. And I'm looking at something right now. I don't mean to go sideways a little bit, but I noticed that X/Twitter, they changed the metrics. So don't be alarmed, family. I know what they're doing. They're puffing the numbers. So now I may be wrong. And if I say that you're a part of a Russian bot farm, that's not what I'm saying. So anyways, redneck friends. That was my first experience in having redneck friends. And I mean, no disrespect, and I'll explain it as soon as I finish drinking this fancy water. And there's no sugar, by the way. So one of my best friends, his name is Bubba. That was his real name. And Bubba was from Alabama, of all places. You can't make this up. And Bubba was a good friend because he was kind of like an out. I hope I'm not making this up in my memories and reconfiguring for today's conversation. But Bubba had suspenders. But I'm not even making it. He had suspenders. So he takes somebody from Hawaii. I've never seen suspenders before in my life. We don't have a need for it in Hawaii. And actually, it was like those blue jeans ones. I think they're called suspenders or overalls. But he didn't wear a shirt underneath, and I'm sure he wore underwear or something like that. So that was my first experience, and we were actually good friends. And I'll share 3 more memories, and I'm gonna land the plane. The other memory was we had this big field where we played basketball, and somebody decided, hey, let's put this metal pole, steel. It's like an industrial steel pole in the ground, and let's put a basketball goal, and that was our basketball goal in the middle of this grass field. So there's no concrete. We played basketball in the grass. Could wear suspended all times. He's surely out in Twitch. BLB bib overall, says Tala. So I learned how to play basketball in the grass, and we played so much that the grass wore out, and we played on dirt. And those are some of the craziest memories I had as a kid. And there's a lot more to that chapter. I'll probably cover that in another podcast. But I'm sharing these memories with you guys, and these are real memories, by the way. You can fact check me by interviewing my dad one day. He'll probably say I exaggerated some of it. But I'm saying all this, family, as I shared earlier, there's going to be situations that you go through. I call them chapters. Sometimes our seasons have chapters. And then sometimes our chapters have subchapters and subchapters and so on and forth. And I want to encourage, I don't know who this is for today, but I do know that when we write chapters in our life, because I'm a firm believer that we are the authors of the chapters in our life. And people are like, well, what do you mean? You can't. No, we have free will to make choices. And I'm a firm believer that God is not in control. He does have control, but he gave us the ability to have choices. And now that doesn't mean he's not in charge. He's definitely still in charge. But he loves us so much that he's given us the ability to make choices and decisions on our own, because he wants us to truly, not just our calling in life, but if we're going to actually love him, he wants us to do it legitimately out of our heart. So anyways, I say all that we've been given a pen. Let me find these pens. I had the title originally as Japanese paper. And I have this infatuation with Japanese paper. If you don't know much about Japanese paper is amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And I have these Japanese pens too. And one thing I've been doing a lot lately, and I won't show you my journals because those are very personal, but I've been writing every single day. This is the most I've ever written in a long time, probably all my life, actually. And what brought me to this place to write so much, and I'm not just talking about like structured writing, I'm not talking about creative writing, I'm not talking about writing out business ideas or not even dreams and goals. I just started writing and talking to God and saying, God, thank you so much for what you've blessed me with. Lord, I love you just for the simple fact that I'm able to write these cards out and remember what you've brought me out of. And this wall, this mountain that I'm facing, I thank you, Lord, that I'm going to bust through that wall, bust through that mountain, and those pieces of that mountain are going to be my sidewalk. And I'm going to trample over all those things that are adversities, tough chapters, all those things. And so I say all that, family. And by the way, it's not, I'm not, this is, it's very dusty in here. So I gotta clean up my room. It's very dusty. Just kidding. But I'll say this. The pen that you've been given to make chapters, to write chapters, I would never, ever have been able to write these things out in my journal had it not been for me to be willing to have a conversation with God and say, God, I don't know what the next chapter looks like, but I'm glad that I know you, and that whatever you take me through, I'm going to do it with you. And would you know, he blessed me with an amazing woman of God that will fight and fight and fight for our marriage. 4 beautiful kids. We have 3 up in heaven. Been blessed, family. Amazingly blessed. And one of the things that I will say is that there's been a peace that goes beyond all understanding through all of this. And I'm blessed. I'm majorly blessed. And I'm looking forward to sharing much more memories with you. I call them note card memories. And I'll share a little bit more with you guys. I'm at the 30-minute mark. I went over my time. I wanted to keep this a little bit shorter than normal. But for those of you that are going through a tough time, I will tell you this. If you feel like you're in a place where you just don't know where to go to, and you're really, really struggling, shoot me a DM. We'll pray for you. We'll love on you. As a disclaimer, it will always be me and my wife, for integrity purposes and also for covering. And I don't do anything alone, first and foremost. And if we can't help you in any way, I've got a great team of, we've got a great team of leaders and ministers within our camp. I've got a couple of clinical psychologists who are willing to have conversations with you. And I'll leave it at that. And note card memories. Note card memories. I was going to say note card session, but note card memories. That's today's title of today's podcast. It's going to be available on Spotify in a couple of hours. If you don't watch it live here on X after I end it, you can watch the replay. I'm going to upload the full video in the live stream community X. If you're not yet a member, please join. We would love to hang out with you, share tips, tricks, best practices with you. And I've got a couple of guests lined up for gLO Sessions, which is our podcast. And we're excited to be doing these. I don't have a schedule yet just because it's hit or miss depending on when guests can commit to a time frame. But I'll be doing more of these organic one-on-ones. So on behalf of Noah's Beard Oils, watch the replay. You'll see it in the beginning. Thank you for joining me and my family on this live stream here on X, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. And to my Spotify audience, thank you so much for subscribing and listening. Very grateful, very blessed. And as I always say, thank you for your time. For those of you that tap the screen on X, thank you. Even on YouTube, if you tap the screen on YouTube, thank you. You could have been anywhere else in the world and you chose to be here. And so from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to say, as we say in Hawaii, mahalo nui loa. And love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahuiho, aloha, and mahalo. Yes, sir. Chee-hoo.